Welcome back. The war, never changes. In the chaos of conflict, amidst the thunder of cannons and the cries of the fallen, heroes are made and legends born. But for some, the true test of courage comes not on the battlefield, but behind enemy lines. They say a man can be judged by the company he keeps. Well, in a prisoner of war camp, you keep company with the bravest of them all. Men who stare death in the face and refuse to yield. Men who defy their captors and cling to hope with every fiber of their being. For these men, escape is not just a dream, it's a mission. A mission to reclaim their freedom, to defy the odds, and to show the world that even in captivity, the human spirit remains unbroken. In the darkest of times, amidst the harshest of conditions, they find solace in each other's company. They share their stories, their laughter, and their tears, forging bonds that transcend the barriers of nationality and creed. With the outbreak of war in 1914, both sides were unprepared for the sheer number of prisoners. Initially, makeshift camps were thrown together, leaving war prisoners in overcrowded and unsanitary conditions. As the war dragged on, permanent camps were built, but hardships remained a constant reality. In war, the line between friend and foe blurs. In the eyes of your captors, you're nothing but a number, a pawn to be used and discarded at will. And there were countless soldiers who were found, captured, and imprisoned, and those who were captured went through the many horrors of the war as they were forced to face interrogation, sexual abuse, and torture in the enemy hands. And these prisoners were always subjected to a barrage of physical and psychological tormentation. Many of the prisoners were often endured beatings, to forced starvation, and to forced labor. And with these cruel atrocities, their bodies and spirits were relentlessly broken by the cruelty of their captors. But during these dark war times, the most insidious form of torture was only the psychological warfare waged against prisoners of war. Interrogators often employed new tactics of fear, intimidation, and manipulation to extract the valuable information from prisoner and break their will, leaving them with lasting scars on the minds of their victims forever. The harsh realities of camp life quickly set in. Food shortages were common, with prisoners often relying on meager rations barely enough to sustain them. The lack of proper sanitation and healthcare facilities led to outbreaks of diseases like typhus and dysentery, claiming countless lives. To worsen matters, many war prisoners were forced into labor. They toiled in mines, quarries, and farms, often performing grueling tasks with limited food and rest. This not only added to their physical hardship, but also underscored the exploitation they faced. Despite the ever-present danger and harsh penalties for escape attempts, the pursuit of freedom remained a powerful motivator. And sometimes a glimmer of hope came in the form of letters from home. Even a small message offered a connection to loved ones and a reminder of the life they longed to return to. For those trapped behind barbed wire and stone walls, letters become lifelines, fragile threads connecting them to the world they left behind. Communication with family, even with limitations, served as a lifeline, reminding prisoners they weren't forgotten and giving them the strength to endure. In the ink-stained pages of these letters, they pour out their hopes, their fears, their dreams, desperate pleas for connection in a world torn apart by violence. In the darkest of times, these letters are beacons of light, reminders that even in the midst of war, love and humanity endure. Later, in the years to come, the treatment of prisoners of war became another violation of international law and basic human decency. The experiences of war prisoners offer a stark reminder of the war's impact beyond the battlefields. Millions endured unimaginable hardship, and countless lives were lost not in the heat of combat, but in the harsh realities of captivity. It's important to note that the treatment of prisoners varied significantly depending on the camp, nationality, and the specific time period during the war. And when the war finally ends, and the gates of the prison swing open, they emerge not as defeated men, but as survivors. Survivors of the greatest struggle of all, the struggle for freedom, for dignity, and for the indomitable human spirit.